My morning conversation with Malcolm Kirkham, 7th of March 2021. As a father of 6 children, don't you think I care for them?
Of course you do.
Right, so if I care for them, would I provide for them?
I don't know. What are you talking about, really?
My care for my family. As a father of a family, right, do you not think it's my responsibility to care for them?
And do you?
I'm asking you. Is it my responsibility to care for them?
Oh, yes.
Right, okay. And the question I would ask is, do I care for them?
And I don't know.
Okay, but if I did care for them, how would it show and demonstrate itself to you?
If they loved you.
Well, how would you know if they did?
I don't know.
So how can you find out if I care for them?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to suggest to you there are various ways you can find out if somebody cares for them, right? A, I provide for them.
Yes, good.
But go to work for them.
Good.
Buy the things that they need. Yeah?
Right.
Talk with them. Share with them. Share with them their joys. Encouraging them with their schooling. Now, do I do these things with my family?
Well, if you...
No, not if I think. I'm asking you. Do you know if I do any of them things?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Rebecca is... she thinks you was dog's bollocks, so...
No, talk. Don't, well, I don't know.
It must be right. It must be right.
What about Isaac? What about Isaac? What does he think?
Oh, he's just...
Oh, what? Argumentative?
Yeah, because he's like you.
But he tells me he loves me.
No, he's like you.
All right, how about Macy? Does she? What about her? Can you see?
I don't know that, Macy.
Do I care for her? Or don't you know?
So what do you think about Maisie then?
Well, it doesn't matter. It's not about Macy. You started off telling me what I should do. You're telling me you started off by saying I should care for these people in the street and give charity. Well, I say, look, charity begins at home. As the father of a family,
yes,
yeah.
I believe that absolutely.
Okay, so let's start at home, not the people in the street that I don't know. Do I care for my family?
Yes.
Do you believe that?
Yes.
Have you got any reason to doubt it?
No.
Am I a good father?
What do you think?
It's not a question of what I think, it's a question of what you think. Because you're the one that's questioning my behaviour and motives. I'm writing about it. Huh?
I'm not doing anything to question your motive. I don't know whether you're a good father or not a good father.
Well, that's what we started on about. You're telling me that I'm only interested in myself, nothing else. You're telling me that God put us on earth to care for other people. Okay, I'm not disagreeing in anything what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, if that's our purpose, let's start at home. The father surely is a very important man. He's the father of a family. I'm a father of how many children? Let me name them one by one. Isaac, even know his name, even know his date of birth, the 5th of February 1979. And then there's Esther, right? Esther, coming up 40 or just turned 40. There's David and Eleanor. And there's Irene, my first wife. There's Helen, my second wife. There's Rebecca, my 5th child. And there's Dolores that I married. And there's Macy, my latest child. And then I've got grandchildren in the various parts of the world. Now, I'm a father, right, of a family. And I say a very important man. Or some say, well, I think I am a very important man. Not because I am, just because I am. The fact is I am a very important man. Look at the family that I've produced. Now, charity begins at home, yeah? Charity begins with the family. You start with the rest of the world. You think I should look after people that can't look after themselves and have no home, like they do in the Salvation Army, or take in refugees or illegal immigrants. I have provided a home for my family. Charity begins at home. So that's why I'm talking to the children about what I've written. And such were some of you know, it's not called that, it's called Let Christian Men Be Men. And that's what we started off this conversation this morning about. And you chipped in, oh, you're not this, you're not, you're starting, knocked me straight away.
Right, okay. I don't chip in with anything, but...
Let's start again and see if you chip in. Interviewer, this is Rebecca. She says to me, I understand, Father, you've recently written a book called Let Christian Men Be Men, and that you've asked a number of men to take a look at it, and if they feel able to write a foreword to your book. That's Rebecca asking a question. Right. Macy then chips and says, oh yes, Dad, because we'd like to know, as we think we should be able to tell people what it's all about, but we don't know. And even Isaac doesn't know, and he's 42 years old. And Rebecca chips in, nor Esther, nor Ellie, or Dave. And then I say to them, well, I'm not sure if Irene, that is Isaac's mum, really knows either, or cares anymore. And I don't even think your mum, Rebecca, would understand or be interested. But it is important, as it does affect you all, because I'm the father of the family, and some say a very important man. And as for David, he opposes me, doesn't even speak to me, and refuses to visit or speak to me ever since I informed him what I thought of him being gay. He took offence in December 2020 and has walked off with a huff and has cut all communications off with me, Macy, and I think Isaac too. But I'm not sure. Rebecca says, oh, that's a shame. Maybe if they understood what you've written about, things would be different. Well, that's why I've written my book, as I'm 72 years old and will not always be with you to speak or explain things to you. Now, you chipped in and went off on a tangent. Do you remember?
You have not taken your medication, have you?
You're not answering the question, are you?
No, you have not taken your medication, have you?
You have, look, you're changing the subject. I'm talking to you and you're talking to me. Now you're changing the subject. Why change the subject?
But you have not taken your medication, have you?
I'm not talking to you about anything else at the moment. Because it's a tactic, a diversion. We're talking about something. We're talking. This is a two-way conversation, not a distraction.
You have not taken your medication.
Oh, how about the man upstairs, Malcolm, or the man next door? Malcolm, how are you getting on with him?
What man upstairs?
No, I don't mean upstairs, the man next door to you. How are you getting on with them? See, I've changed the subject. I've changed the subject from what we're talking about to the point that you're trying to introduce. I don't want to talk about medication or drugs, right? I'm off drugs. I'm talking about, you've asked me, what am I up to? I started to tell you what I'm up to and you immediately diverted from the subject of conversation to talk about drugs. And I don't want to talk about drugs because you were a drug addict or drug dealer. I was a sin addict. You was a sin addict. You was a juvenile delinquent that used to ride a Lambretta motor scooter and thought he could fly one day.
tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go to bed.
Do you know what time it is?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm going to...
9 o'clock.
I'm going to think about what you said.
All right, then come back to me.
Right, I will.
Good night. Good night.